think it's kind of exciting that you have a brand new asset class.
The Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by banks. That is unacceptable. We are not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done as soon as possible. Americans should earn more money on their money. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. The Genius Act, named after me, by the way, was the U.S. first big step in making the United States the crypto capital of the world. And getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job. And most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in best interest of the American people. Seriously. This industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it is so close to becoming truly successful. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter. President Donald John Trump.
Thank you very much. That is President Trump. That was actually him reading this post in studio with me. I think he had to go. He's running. Thank you, digital asset guy. Thank you, Trump. Yeah, very much. Thanks for any time. Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. That was just in. Eleanor Terrett says earlier at the Milken Institute Future of Finance event, some execs were betting President Trump wouldn't pick a side in the stablecoin yield fight, crypto versus banks, until further down the line after he was done fundraising off both. Spoke too soon. The digital asset guy was the first to comment and said, "Who would have thought President Trump would stand with crypto?" Pun intended for Stand With Crypto, the group. The banks literally debanked him and his family. I'm going to like my own post there. This is what I voted for. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to like that one too. Very cool. So anyway, this is breaking, just happened. And it's President Trump showing his cards. I mean, seriously, they debanked him and his family in the last campaign. And, I mean, he's been attacked by everyone. They took him off social media. Banks tried to debank him, the media, all of that. And then now he's back. It's like, what did they think? And right now the banks, they're just whining. When they said crypto was nothing, and there was nothing to worry about. It's not real money. It's silly. Now they're just whining, saying crypto platforms are paying more interest on stable coins than our fabulous savings accounts. And they're just straight up whining because they know crypto's better than them now. And people can earn more money on their money. And it's just as simple as that. Banks have really backed themselves into a corner with this Clarity Act. That's exactly what you're seeing right now. Here is White House crypto advisor. I wanted this job, by the way. Patrick Witt, who gives an update on the crypto market structure bill. This was just 4 hours ago. Altcoin Daily posted.
Context of the digital. So the latest is it's passed out of the Senate Ag Committee, the portion dealing with CFTC. We are actively working to get it back on the books for a markup in the Senate Banking Committee. The main issue that's been the sticking point is the stablecoin rewards and yield coming back up in the context of the digital asset service providers, the intermediaries, potentially being able to offer rewards and yield on stablecoins to their customers. We at the White House have convened a number of meetings over the past month to try and solve this issue and broker a compromise here. Crypto, to their credit, has made considerable considerable strides in coming to a compromise position. It's time for the banks to reciprocate and ultimately strike a deal on this, because this is the issue that we believe is the domino that will fall, and ultimately everything will fall into place after that.
The domino that will fall, and then ultimately everything else will fall into place after that. Very exciting, Patrick. Excuse me. I have my last cough somewhere, hopefully in the near future, with this sickness I've had. All right, this is iTrust Capital, the digital asset guy's favorite place to buy, sell, and hold crypto and precious metals inside of an IRA or not inside of an IRA in their premium custody account, where you get institutional grade custody for only a 1% trading fee, which, by the way, if you've been in crypto even a short time, 1% is the absolute best deal you're going to find anywhere. Well, I'm not gonna talk about other platforms, but there are other platforms that charge way higher, between 3 and 5%, variable rates, all kind of things like that. But iTrust, you can trust them to charge 1% trading fees and give you institutional grade custody, as they are a custodian of your digital assets and precious metals. I'll post a link in the description down below. So, oh no, where'd it go? I had a video up with Charles Hoskinson, founder and CEO of Cardano, getting a little heated over the Clarity Act, and you can listen to what he's saying.
Security by default. And because it looks like XRP might get a pass and be one of the grandfathered in, including Cardano, in this whole process, I guess we just have to pass a horrific trash bill that makes everything a security by default, and it creates attack vectors through bureaucratic nonsense for the SEC to destroy all future American cryptocurrency projects. And also, there's nothing in this for DeFi. Nothing. Uniswap doesn't get anything. Prediction markets don't get anything. Armstrong can't even get his yield-bearing stablecoins. This is not a good bill. A security by default.
All right, so I don't pretend to know all the ins and outs of the bill like Charles does. This is one of the pioneers of crypto. You know, I think he was a billionaire in his early 30s, something like that. But this is a very brilliant guy. I think he's raising some valid concerns. You never know what's going on with the inner politics of these things. But Brad Garlinghouse has come out and said XRP has clarity. It's the only digital asset with clarity because of the SEC Ripple lawsuit. And they kicked the SEC's butt, by the way, Gary Gensler and all of the corrupt people involved. And the judge, Annalisa Torres, officially ruled XRP is not a security. And so, you know, I think when Brad Garlinghouse comes out and says the industry needs this clarity, but XRP doesn't, I think that he is speaking the truth. And I think the Clarity Act at the end of the day isn't going to matter so much for XRP. But I do think that we need the Clarity Act. I'm just saying, I think Charles has some valid concerns, but I don't think we're ever going to please everyone. But this industry does need clarity. I've said since the bill originally, or the act originally was taken away in October, I've said I don't see it being passed anytime soon. I see them dangling it in front of us. So I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that XRP technically doesn't need the bill, and that's why I think you're seeing a lot of nerves struck with other projects, which makes sense. Here's what Brad Garlinghouse posted February 28th. The door to a deal is wide open. The banks just need to act in good faith and walk through it. Very interesting choice of words. The banks just need to act in good faith and walk through it. Almost kind of like this might be a chess move where he knows that they're not going to, so he comes on and, post this, which will show that they can't act in good faith if they're going to, sign this deal. Very, very interesting. Don't know why these are not loading. Here is one of the biggest bankers ever, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan. Listen to what he has to say about it. I think this is just funny. This guy, he was so against crypto just a couple years ago. Now he's done a 180, and it's honestly just comical to watch him twist things to sound the way that he wants them.
You and your peers have reportedly clashed with Coinbase's Brian Armstrong over the Clarity Act and specifically this idea of crypto exchanges offering rewards for stablecoins. And Armstrong was on CNBC with Sarah Eisen a few weeks ago from Mar-a-Lago, and he said there's a path forward for the market structure bill that's a, quote, win-win outcome for everyone. How are you feeling about it right now?
The banks feel strongly that there should be, rewards are the same as interest. And that, a compromise would be that you could pay rewards on transactions, not balances. If you are going to be holding balances and paying interest, that's the bank. You should be regulated by a bank. So we've been firm. One thing over here, yes, but if you want to be a bank, become a bank. Then you can do whatever you want under bank law. So I remind people, and your viewers may not know, banks have restrictions and requirements. FDIC insurance, AML, BSA. We have Community Responsibility Act, which means we have to open 25% of our branches, LMI neighbors. We have social requirements. We have liquidity requirements, capital requirements, transparency requirements, reporting requirements, board requirements, government's requirements. If they want to be a bank, so be it. So what we base is level playing field by product. It can't be you have these people doing one thing, without any regulation like that, and these people do another. And if you do that, the public will pay. It will get bad. So people should take a deep breath at what is you want, and we want competition. We're actually one of the biggest users of blockchain, and we created the JP Morgan Deposit Coin. We've moved money real-time payments.
That does nothing.
We're moving a lot of data now using blockchain. So we're in favor of competition, but it's got to be fair and balanced, level playing field. It's not.
We're in favor of competition. We just have to be able to tell the competition what they can and cannot do. Jamie, they're getting banking licenses. Ripple is a bank. All the ton of other crypto companies and institutions are getting their banking license, but they offer higher stablecoin yield than the banks do on savings accounts. So when you say we want competition, we just want to make sure that it's fair competition, that is a bunch of BS. You're trying to say that they're just not supposed to be allowed to offer stablecoin yield, and you're not offering stablecoins. JP Morgan coin, I didn't know it still existed. It basically was a centralized digital currency, not a cryptocurrency. It was basically like a little CBDC for JP Morgan. Made no sense to use it, and they weren't offering yield on it. So he's just got it all totally wrong, and in my opinion, he's just twisting everything so much to fit his narrative that crypto companies are just not being fair. It's just ridiculous. Oh, but this kind of stuff, excuse me, this kind of stuff gets me very heated because I came into crypto when it was like a video game. Back in 2016, I had family members, people close to me just laughing and, oh, that stuff's never going to work. Nobody's ever going to put their money in crypto. It's nothing. And, and then here we are. But a lot of these people who were completely disrespectful, just jerks. They were wrong. They were arrogant. They were negligent. They were ignorant. Did I already say that one? For them to just turn around and be like, oh, see, we've been all for it. We just want to make sure that it's fair. It's just so insulting, and it's just, we've seen it for a decade in this industry, and it's almost like gaslighting. It just really. It's almost like when I have people who I've helped in crypto for years now, I have to call them and tell them, hey, I'm doing this, that, like people close to me or family members. They never want to hear it. Whenever there's a bear market, I'm saying this is the most important time. I'm doing this, this, and this. They never want to hear it, and they'll go totally bearish and, oh, I'm not going to do crypto, gold and silver's better. And then in the bull runs, here they come right back and they want to buy and maybe, they just never want to listen. And then I put a lot of time and effort into trying to help them. And they take it for granted. And they'll call me and be like, okay, now what do I do? Tell me what to do. And it's just so kind of insulting. And this whole game of being a cryptocurrency investor, a true believer, it just takes a tremendous emotional toll to deal with the emotions and to deal with the whole world basically saying you're crazy, you're stupid, and then turning around and wanting you to help them for free at their beck and call. It gets very insulting. It can get kind of comical though, how they're being so ridiculous, and and then after the fact they want to be like, oh, we did it ourselves. We've known the whole time, when they wouldn't even be in the space if it wasn't for me helping them and telling them the right things at the right time, because I do the research and I know what's going on in real time, even though they don't. But so these things, it's very tense times right now. Not as tense as back in 2018 though, in our first really big bear market where crypto's existence was being questioned, and that was probably the toughest time, was 2018. But now that we have the bankers in this kind of war with banks, we're going to win because they've already backed themselves into a corner. But it's just a very emotional battle, and it's a very painful battle, because when just the level of disrespect and gaslighting and things like this really just get old after a decade. So, okay, end of that rant. This video, the last one I did last night, I think this is a little behind. I think it's getting up around 1,000 views. Some of my videos are starting to catch on. This one where I said President Trump said he made a mistake picking the Fed chair, it's up to 7,500. Since the weather has obviously changed for the winter, I can't get out and do my walking videos as much as I would like to. I'm going to be getting back into that soon. But if you could comment down below and let me know what kind of content you guys enjoy, what you want more of, what you don't necessarily like. I am making a lot of new content that I haven't really released yet, but I have some different ideas for some different playlists and different things. But I am all ears if you have any suggestions. In the very beginning when I was doing this, I had some friends saying, it's not working, you're not getting any views, it's not working, the long videos don't work. But everything's a process, and I think it is starting to work now. And then really I'm not doing it for the views or the money. I'm not making any money off it. I just do it because I'm the digital asset guy, and I want to talk crypto and blockchain and investing, even though anything I say or talk about or show on these videos is not investment or financial advice, just my own personal thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and it's all for entertainment purposes only. This is what I like to do with my time. I consider it my work. So thank you very, very much for tuning in. Digital Asset Guy out.